Hey friend, listen, I wanted to catch up with you a little bit. I'm at home, I'm in my backyard. It's kind of nice out here. I'm underneath a magnolia tree. And I wanted to thank you so much for the love and care and concern that you guys have shown me and my wife Judy. It's been a real blessing. She was a trooper. She was amazing through it all. Couldn't have asked for a better helpmeet than my beautiful wife Judy. She never panicked. She never did any of those things. She had to drive kind of fast to get me to the hospital because I was in excruciating pain when I had those multiple pulmonary embolisms, blood clots in the lungs. I had a big blood clot in my calf and it broke loose and broke into pieces and went into my lungs. You know, a lot of people have that and they don't have any problems. They don't have any pain. They don't even know that it's happened to them. It kind of depends on how big the blood clots are. In my case, it was big enough to make it very, very difficult to breathe and a lot of pain. Fortunately, the hospital was only 5 minutes away. We got in there. They put needles, big ones, in my tummy. And 24 hours later, the pain was cut in half. Another 24 hours later, it was all gone, the pain. I got checked out and everything was good. So I wanted you to know that. I'm on blood thinners. That seemed to have a bit of a negative reaction with me as well. It took me a while to get back to full strength. In fact, I'm not quite there yet. I wasn't sure how I was going to be tomorrow, but I'm doing pretty good today. I cough a lot. I got a dry cough. They say that's because you still have blood clots in your lungs, and they're trying to dissolve them through the use of various, a blood thinner kind of thing. So anyway, that's the status with me. I'm not going to be there this Friday because Wally, and God bless Wally. Wally, I love you, appreciate you, my friend. He stepped in and said, hey, listen, last Friday he said, let's bring Larry Tyler and have him talk about cash flow. I watched that the day after, 2 days after. It was so good. So if you haven't watched it, I recommend you do. It was really, really good. I never thought a talk on cash flow could be that interesting, but it was. Secondly, Wally said, you know, you may not be ready for it this Friday. And frankly, at the beginning of the week, I didn't know. I had a really, really rough day on Monday. So I wasn't sure. So I said, yeah, okay. And so he put a request out to Joseph Peck, Dr. Joseph Peck, and see, you know, what he might think about it and pray about it. Well, the Lord gave him something, and he's going to be talking about uncommon journaling for business. For business, like, wow, because I love what I've learned from Joseph about journaling, about uncommon journaling, because it's absolutely not the common thing. Trust me on that. But I really want to encourage you. He's putting together an entire PowerPoint presentation, notes, the whole bit, just for uncommon journaling for business. So I really want you to be there tomorrow or Friday, whenever. I don't know when this email is going out, but it's Friday. Is when Joseph's going to be doing it, Friday the 25th of September. So I don't want you to miss that. Catch the replay if you can't be there for it live. It is going to be that good. All right. So, having said all that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover. I do want to cover one other thing. Tomorrow, Saturday is the 26th of September. That's when Jonathan Cahn is having his big rally in Washington, D.C., starting at 9 a.m. and 10 and 11 o'clock. He's going to deliver some kind of word to everybody there. Then at noon, Franklin Graham is doing his thing, and it's a big prayer march from, I think it's the Lincoln Center to or Lincoln Memorial to the Washington Memorial, I think is the deal. Anyway, that's all happening on Saturday. Thousands, tens of thousands of Christians are gathering to pray and intercede for our country. I'm not going to be there. I don't need the extra physical stress on me right now to drive that far and to do all that, so I'm not going to go there, but we'll be praying from home and watching to see what God does. I told you that September was going to be an interesting month. I had that sense back in February. I said from February through till September, I saw something like it's a window of time. Certain things are going to be happening. Didn't know what was going to happen after that. I told two people privately that between the 10th and the 19th, I felt like it was going to be a very significant day, you know, that time, that window. Well, the only thing I can tell you that happened in that time was, number one, I was rushed to the hospital, couldn't hardly breathe, and I was in a lot of pain. So I had a big, profound experience for sure. It could have been far, far worse, but it wasn't. Praise God. Secondly, we had in this country, in America, we had the passing of Justice Ginsburg in the Supreme Court, which created an opening for a conservative judge to be appointed, which will change the balance of power, if you will. It's a hugely, hugely significant thing, and that happened at the closing minutes, as far as we can tell, the closing minutes of the year 5780 in the Hebrew calendar, and as you know, Rosh Hashanah ushered in the new year 5781, which I've heard some experts say when you take the numbers and you put them into letters and you put it into a word, it literally means you'll be amazed. So we'll see. But I have a feeling we're going to be, because I know when Judy was praying and interceding for our country, yeah, she said like October I forget what she said for September, but for October she said she's expecting a surprise, an October surprise, but not from the left or the right, but a God surprise in October. So we're looking for that. And November, we'll see. I said you're going to see shock and awe in November. But anyway, that's my personal feelings on that. But as we finish out September, listen, I want to say this to you again because I know there's a lot of things circulating on the internet. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to see this country come in October or November. It's going to be covered with Russian troops telling Chinese troops what to do and who to round up. That is not going to happen. You're not going to see the Statue of Liberty falling over and drowning or whatever. It's not going to happen. This is not the time for the end of the world, the end of the age. We're not there yet. We're not there for so many reasons. But I'm going to tell you, doesn't mean it's going to be all peaches and cream. We're going to have some challenges. That kind of goes with the territory, and that's okay. I want you to understand something. When the children of Israel, when God led them out of Egypt, he had to be so careful with them. At first, he made them, when they were going to the Red Sea, he took them on the long route, specifically for one reason, to avoid conflict with the Philistines, because it says he thought maybe if they saw that we're going to have to fight for this, they'd retreat. So in case that was the case, he took them a long route around to where they got to, and then they crossed over the Red Sea where they did. Once they got over, then the Egyptian army was, swallowed up in the sea. They carried on. Everything was good. But then they did have a battle with the Amalekites. We'll get into that another time. But they spent 40 years in the wilderness. But then they got to the promised land and they crossed over the Jordan. And guess what? This is the promised land. Joy, oh joy. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that wonderful? It's the promised land. But guess what? The first city they encounter is Jericho. Jericho was this walled fortress. You could ride chariots around the walls on the top of it. I mean, it wasn't like a wooden privacy fence. It was serious defense, which meant, hey, we have no intention of giving up this land to you Israelites, none whatsoever. Okay, so they were immediately faced with that. What does that mean? It means you and I still have to fight. We still have to fight for the destiny, for the call of God on our life, for the thing that He has for us. Don't ever forget that. It's still a fight. In fact, the first person that Joshua saw once they crossed the Jordan River, guess who he saw? I'm talking when all of Israel came across. The first person he saw was Jesus. He said, well, Jesus? Well, I didn't see Jesus. Oh, yeah. It's in Joshua chapter 5. You read about it, and it's the angel of the Lord. Well, Joshua called him Lord, and anytime anybody in the Bible saw an angel and they began to worship him or call him Lord or whatever, the angels always said, no, 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 no. I'm just like you. But not when it was the Lord. Twice we know in the Old Testament I can think of, when Moses saw the burning bush, he said, take your shoes off, your sandals off, for where you're standing is holy. It's exactly the same thing that the Lord said to Joshua in Joshua 5. Take your shoes off, take your sandals off, you're on holy ground. Now, and by the way, he wasn't sitting there saying, now you got your shoes off, get comfortable, here's a couple of cushions, let's have a fish sandwich and a Big Mac and let's talk about your future. No, he had a sword in his hand. It wasn't in a sheath, he had it drawn. He had it drawn, meaning we're heading into battle here, folks. And of course, Joshua wanted to know whose side are you on? And he said, hey, wrong question. I am the captain. I am the captain of the army of the Lord. That's me. I'm the commander is actually the term. I'm the commander of the army of the Lord. So here's Jesus standing there, and he's got that. And guess what? When they did take down Jericho, when that happened, guess who was behind that? There were the Jebusites, the Girgashites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, I forget who, Canaanites. I'm not sure who I missed, but there's 7 tribes. 7 tribes behind them, mightier than Israel, mightier than the Israelites that were behind them. In other words, they still had to fight for it. I'm telling you something. When we begin to enter into the promise of God and what He has for this country and for this planet, I don't care where you live, for this planet and for your life specifically, I'm telling you as a mature Christian, you're going to have to fight for it. And I'm going to help you do that. Let me just wrap up the my video for reasons I don't understand quite yet. It just stopped. It just froze. So anyway, what I was going to say is, look, tomorrow is going to be a great day with Joseph Peck. It's going to be awesome. The good doctor is going to be in the house. Do not miss it. I will be back October the 2nd, God willing. The creek don't rise, hell doesn't freeze over, and a few other things. I will be there October 2nd, Friday, with a whole lot more stuff, because I'm telling you, you and I, we have things to do. A call of God is on my life, it's on your life, it's on our lives, it's on our nation, it's on the nations of the world. God has a plan. Do not give in to the lies, do not give in to the fear that's out there, because that is not the plan of God. Yeah, there's going to be giants, yeah, there's going to be resistance, all those things are there, and yeah, you know what, they're going to get real ugly. So what? So what? God, here's what happened. he wouldn't let them face the Philistines because he thought they might get afraid. Once they got into the wilderness, they fought with the Amalekites. Now there was some miraculous deliverance there as long as Moses had his hands in the air and all that. But still, they had a battle that kind of got them a little bit ready. But then they get into the promised land, and once they got over there, I'm telling you, it's like you're on your own. Not really on your own. That's not the right way of putting it. It's like now you're going to participate in the miracle. See, back in the wilderness, the bread just landed on the ground. Help yourself every day. Water came out of a rock. Now you get in here, you gotta till it. You gotta have your own animals and all that kind of stuff. You know, your own livestock. So it changed because there's a place of maturity. And you and I, we're at this place of maturity where we have to take ground and we have to do it in the way that God intended. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be because you're afraid of what's going to happen. Because the stuff I hear happening and people talking about what's happening, I don't care who dreamed what. I'm telling you, you wait and see. This country's not going to be overrun like I've heard good people say. That is not the plan of God. You have to run everything, including your dreams, through what the will of God is, what the Scripture speaks to. So anyway, I look forward to the future with you, and I look forward to fighting arm linked together with you in the future. So all right, have a great day tomorrow. I'll watch the replay, and I'll see you a week from Friday. God bless you guys.